information about what you all discussed, what you went through to finally decide to vote in support of the resolution. There were 15 different documents that were used as supporting basis or supporting fact that the commissioners were able to view and look at. Some of them were the names and signatures and addresses of these protestants. Would this body be willing to release that information so that we...
Not until after the hearing, sir. So that's not going to happen without... But let me just tell you how this works.
And remind the community who Mr. Crimmins is. Mr. Crimmins
Oh,
knew
I
Don Pardo has filed
Commissioner-
a lawsuit. I mean, we're not to discuss
Commissioner
that.
Septo, I would be happy to.
Wait a minute,
No,
stop
sir,
for
no.
Okay, you've already made your statement, and you've already made your statement. Let me just say, and you know the difference.
Yeah.
So therefore, you know, when you stand up, you know the difference. And OAU has answered you. So let me just say to you, and let me say to everybody in this room, Don Perdue, Mr. Crimson, have been the same group of people who've been doing whatever they wanted to do. And if neither one of you all want to join them, that's fine. If you don't want to join them, that's fine. But let me just tell you, when an ANC commissioner brings something from their community to the commission votes to accept it or not. Now, when Commissioner Steptoe, you've asked me the question, and I'm going to say it to you. Commissioner Steptoe from 5B04, I've been knowing Commissioner Steptoe as a commissioner. And I can say to you what the young man said here about having names from out of the city, having names that were illegal. I'm going to say to you, that to me is a smack in the face for somebody who really do not know anybody in this city. And first of all, you don't have the petition. You don't have the petition. Hold on a minute. Either you have the petition, and if you said you don't have it and you haven't seen it, then how are you going to come back and say that the people signed it did not live in the city?
You asked me a question. Would you allow me to answer?
No, I'm talking to
But
him.
you asked me a question
No,
directly.
I just said you made a statement.
You just asked me a question directly.
Okay.
May I be allowed to answer when you're done?
Go ahead, young man.
No, I'm saying when you're done, may I be allowed to answer?
I want him to finish. Is that all you had to say?
Do I have the floor?
No, you have the floor. Go ahead.
Yes, to Commissioner Steptoe's point, I did file a lawsuit against the District of Columbia and ANC 5B. It is a Freedom of Information lawsuit. The basis, all I'm asking for is there is a lot of unknowns that are going on. You voted in support of the resolution. That is the choices you made. I would just like to know more about the why. There were supporting documents that were used, including those who signed and gave their address in their constitutional rights and their DC code rights to have a protest. It does only take 5, and that's fine, and that's great. And I want them to have their due process. But to be able to go and be educated and be informed and go to the ABRA hearing, it would be beneficial as a constituent to be able to look at these documents that you used as a basis of fact
OAU
to
was
have
sent
a
to you
vote.
in time after the August the 14th. So therefore, August the 14th, all you have to do, let me just say this to you now, because we're finished with you in this sense. You've already filed your complaint. I got it when I came back off vacation. So that's the end of that. It is with OAU now with us. And so therefore, anything you say now, let me just say, let me just make this very clear. There's no negotiating with us. We signed it, we approved it, and it's gone.
There's no negotiating with you?
There's no negotiating with us. Wait a minute, listen to me. We assigned, listen to me, if ARPA got it, what make you think now? If you think, I'm really kind of upset the fact that you think we're not smart enough to know why we signed something.
When there's a document that says property values go down, if this
Sir, if
shows
you go and find this making
Anyway, Chair,
let's not get.
Yeah, don't do that, because that's just kind of
That's condescending
unnecessary
and not
voting.
fair.
And
That's
if
condescending.
everyone is interested, please show up to the ABRA hearing. All of the documents after that legislative process will be available. You may see it then. I will tell you one thing, Mr. Robert's son.
Yes, ma'am.
You actually did not see me going to every door within 1 block of every house at 12th and Jackson. The petition survey of the names that I have are the property owners who actually live in the 1200 block of Jackson, the 1000 block of Jackson, the 3300 block of 12, the 3400 block of 12, the 1000 block of Jackson. Mr. Hatto received a letter when I missed him, and Ms. Hernandez received a letter when I missed her. So let me be clear. While you, whatever it is you think you may know, I look forward to seeing you on August 14th, and you will be able to see and hear for yourself what exactly formally was said.
Now, ma'am, if I may just respond. You were absolutely right, Commissioner Steptoe. I did not see that information. And I did not see that information because it was not made available even upon request. So you were correct. I did not see that information. What I did see was another petition that was circulated where the majority of the people in those areas that you mentioned did actually support. So I saw that, so that's what I know, because I've not been allowed to see what was produced by you. So that's, you are absolutely right. I do not know that.
Right.
I will give you
And
that
so we're in the
every
equivalent
Miss
to a court.
Steptoe,
We're
may I please,
I just want to
may I
remind
please,
you, we are
Miss
in the
Steptoe, may I
equivalent to a
please
court
finish
hearing, so
as I
we
gave
deal
you
with
the
that.
opportunity to finish? Please?
Go ahead.
Okay, now, what I'm just trying to say is that coming around to my original statement, obviously there's tension. And that was my original statement. And when I asked you about this special commission, it was about having something where the residents whom collectively, not talking about S&Ds,
Well, that's what we
collectively,
talk about. That's what the law
Ms.
speaks to.
Steptoe,
the
would
most
you
directly
please
of-
allow me
I
to,
have to remind
Ms. Steptoe, would
of
you
the
please,
fullness of the law.
Let him finish.
I have to remind
Ms.
you of the
Ribbon
fullness
Smith.
of the law.
I'm doing what you asked of all of us. That's being respectful, and I'm not interrupting like people are interrupting me. So as I'm just trying to say is, would it be possible to have a committee to address the concerns of the ANC at large? Because as you can see, there is tension. And the only thing that I'll say about Brooklands Finance is what I told the people on Brooklands Finance is this. I said, you know what? It doesn't really matter to me if your restaurant comes here. I would like to see it here, but if the community says no, that's what you have to live with. The community says yes, that's what you have to live with. I'm just a little bit upset that there was never, ever, ever any type of community open forum by this ANC where people could sit down and discuss concerns. There was never a fair hearing. It just did not exist. That's my concern. It's about the process as opposed to just specifically what happened here. It's about the process and the fact that collectively this ANC represents collectively everyone within the ANC. So if we start parsing about SMDs here or there, we also have to understand that we are all residents of this particular ANC. So that is my concern. My concern is that there is tension. You can see it. It was just right here.
It's on the news.
It's on the news. So I'm trying to alleviate.
Because
I'm trying to figure out something.
they will come. Because you have something negative to say, and they will come for something negative. And so therefore, they will come for a story that you want negative to come out. And let me just say to you, not you, let me just say to you, when you all come in here and say something, let me just say this to you, and I made it very clear. Between now and August 14th, there will be no meeting with this ANC 5B. There will be no meeting with ANC 5B between now and August 14th. Okay? Because as you said, if you got 125, you got 350, whatever that is people who are going down at Arbor and testify for it.
Oh,
and you have a right, and you have a right to testify for it. But Arbor asks for those who oppose. They don't ask for those who in favor of. They only ask for those who oppose. And when anyone opposes, if 5 people oppose, then Arbor has to call a hearing. Arbor calls a hearing. We don't call the hearing. Okay? So I don't have that. I mean, I'm very concerned the fact that if there's tension in the community, you know why? Because that lipserv, for those people hide behind it, write all that dumb, crazy stuff, and everybody writes whatever they want to write behind a name and not knowing who they are. And it's the same people. Let me tell you, we know who they are. It's the same people who write the same dumb stuff, and so therefore they've been writing for the last 10 years. And so they're not going to change anytime soon. But that's okay, because if this community is so upset, if it's, and my friend here just said, the property values are going down because a restaurant is going to come and not come in the community. I mean, that just says something about who we think we are. I've been living in this community. I've been living in this community for 67 years. Okay? I remember my mother bought the house for $10,000. So I'm only saying things have, but I'm only saying to you, please, if there's tension, then I'm saying the tension is made by people who get behind closed doors and write negative things and put it out there. And I'm only saying to you, if you got a petition where people sign an agreement up, you've done your due diligence, and therefore you all can come and do that. Mr. Crimson has already filed a lawsuit, so that's the end of that. We don't have anything else to say. The suit has been filed. The suit has been filed, and it's okay. And then that's the end of that. I mean, that's one thing. The due process do give all of us an opportunity to do what we have to do. And once you file the suit, that's the end of that. So he filed it. That's right, he filed it based on that. So there's no
I don't want to
reason
discuss the lawsuit.
well, that is the lawsuit. The
Right,
lawsuit.
I don't want to discuss
Well,
that.
that's what he. That is what all you
Why are we
discussing.
even at this point?
So what?
Why do we even need to get to the point where we have to litigate these things?
I
Why
have
can't
no
we
idea,
talk
but
to
it's
each
your
other?
right. It
And
is
that
your
goes back
right.
to the gentleman's point.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make
Are you-
I'd like to make a comment, right? I've been hearing this go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth about pros and cons. I'm a family that's been in business, so I respect business people who want to open up a business. But I also know that you have to be engaged with your neighbors to make sure that everything is copacetic with you opening. And I know Commissioner Steptoe, I mean, I'm not her inside buddy or anything, but I know she stands on principles. And that if you have something you want to confront with her or discuss with her, she's into it. She will discuss it, give you her position on it. She's like that. Commissioner Smith, same way. I mean, I've had some issues with Commissioner Smith. Smith was small, but she allowed me to talk about what my concerns were about issues on Rhode Island Avenue. So all I'm saying is I went to the listserv and I saw all these comments about going back and forth about people and what they did, what they didn't do. And I was like, this is garbage. So I'm a long-term resident. My family's been here since 1948. There's rules, there's traditions, there's customs, there's people trying to get along with each other. And we have a lot of new people coming in and they want to do all kinds of things. So we have to live together, we got to work together, we should respect each other. And I just feel that trying to gang up on somebody who's doing their job as an ANC commissioner is not the appropriate way to do it. It's a process, just like they say on August the 14th, there's going to be a hearing. So be there. You've had your conversation. I've been sitting here, I've been listening to a conversation that I don't even think we should be even talking about because you just said August 14th, show up. It's a process.
It's fine about the hearing.
Yes, sir. Excuse me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Richard Flintrop, 907 Kearney. For me, the issue isn't about sort of the rules or the regs or the law or anything else. What bothers me and what I hope you'll think about going forward, forget about the past, is that I didn't see any problem-solving effort coming forth from this commission, from any of the commissioners. I didn't see an effort to really bring the parties together and do some negotiation, have some constructive conversation. It's not for me about what you're required to do, but what's sort of the appropriate thing to do. And sure, the people, let them file their petition, but we should all be doing what we can to bridge the gaps between us, rather than to just sort of say, this is what we're going to do, we're passing a resolution. And, I didn't hear any conversation about what could we do to bring all these folks together, put flip charts up, what are the issues, talk to the developer, how can they be resolved. That's the conversation we never had. And I hope that we would do that, not just with this issue, but with other issues going forward in a much more thoughtful and constructive manner.
Thank you very much.
I just say this. We did have that attempt, except it was the ANC that brought the information to the community, not the developer who brought it to the community. The community didn't know anything about it until I actually brought the information to the community.
Well,
And then the second part of that is, again, on that April 22nd meeting, that meeting had to be adjourned. It was a 3-hour meeting because certain personalities were so disruptive, disorderly, and disrespectful that it was adjourned. That's why. We certainly made the effort.
I would like to
I am notorious for these marathon meetings. So I'm okay with having long, intense meetings.
Commissioner, I would
but it was a different thing.
I would simply like to encourage that we not spend a lot of time talking about that April meeting anymore, because I was there. And I know what brought the reaction of the crowd was that there was a young woman who asked a question. She then asked to be able to do a follow-up question, and you chose not to allow her to ask a follow-up question. I
Actually,
think
what
that's
happened
what
was
instigated.
Mr. Bridge back there started the level of disrespect, and then Ms. Reese
gentleman's
Goldsmith carried over the next level of disrespect when we asked Mr. Bridge to leave, and then that sent everyone's head spinning. So
Well,
unfortunately,
I would hope that we not talk about that, because I think there was
well, I'm just saying,
misbehavior on
I'm not going to
everyone's
let
side.
you just say blanket statements and those not be true. I mean, that's just simply not true. That's simply not true.
Look, wait a minute, let's do one thing, let's do one thing, wait a minute, let's do one thing. Excuse me, see, we getting way back to the same old thing again.
Yeah.
Just like
Hold
how
on
she
a
doesn't
minute,
want people
I
to
know,
call her out and think
hold on a
that she's
minute,
heard things.
hold
Only
on a
she's my wife
minute.
for doing
Now,
something.
wait a minute, one
There are
of the
plenty of
things,
people there
wait
who
a
know
minute,
exactly what happened.
wait a minute, stop for 1 second, stop for 1 second. You know, it's amazing to me, oh, excuse me, Commissioner, excuse me, let me just say something. It's amazing to me that we would talk about having a meeting to help all of us resolve something. And we're in a meeting, and nobody in the meeting, no one in the meeting will talk about resolving it. Everybody in the meeting talked about, we need to have another meeting. We had community concerns, and not one person in this meeting said, not one person said anything about how we can, right now in this room, right here today, if the hard feelings in this room right here today, then we're not talking about those who are out there in the community, we're talking about those in the room right here today. What is your hard feelings about? Your
Okay,
hard
if
feelings
you
about,
would
wait a
like me to
minute,
answer right
you
now.
said, your hard feelings you said was about the fact that there was a petition signed and people, that's what you said.
Nope.
What did you say?
Honestly, ma'am, this is what I
No,
said.
I wanna hear.
This is what I said. I said, first and foremost, there are bad feelings. Secondly, what I said was, it is in your power or the power of the executive board here to have some type of committee to make sure that we actually address concerns. Because part of the problem here is that I was at that meeting, and Mr. Bridge actually left the meeting early because you dismissed him. It's number one. So he wasn't there to stir the pot, as you say. Number two, you went off agenda. Number three, this young lady right here asked you to stay on agenda, and you kind of disrespected her with your flip comment of oh, well, happy anniversary. See, so all of these things led to a general feeling here that these people here were being disrespected. I didn't speak to that meeting. I just sat back and observed. And then what it all boiled down to was when there was a woman who asked to make another comment, you essentially said, no, you may not. And you pointed at her and you yelled at her. And that's when the crowd flipped out. When you yelled at that woman, that's when the crowd flipped out. You were the cause of all of the disruption. It was you. It was not the people out here, it was you. And then you turned around the next day and had the nerve to write that certain individuals were disruptive, and that's why the meeting...
Very true.
You were the cause
Okay.
of the
Mr.
disruption.
Robinson, can we do one thing tonight? Wait a minute, let me just say. Let's stop for a minute.
I'm